As Donald Trump's tariff announcement has sent global markets into a dumpulation only rivaled most recently by the 2020 COVID crash, many are angry, sweating, and wishing that Donald Dump would simply go away. But what if I told you I've got something you might want to hear? So if you're quite literally losing money right now, hit that like and subscribe. Get signed up to Femex Blow with no KYC or VPN needed using the link below. And without any further ado, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets today. If we look at Bitcoin, specifically, this is Bitcoin, honestly, nothing crazy. But I do want to talk about the stock market because while Bitcoin currently is down about, at this very second, not even 1%, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, all down over 4% during different parts of the day, and potentially even dropping. So let's talk about it. There's only two things that can happen out of Donald Trump, or as many are calling Donald Dump's current strategy. One, the tariffs don't work. They end up backfiring. We all have to get jobs at McDonald's and slave away for the next 1,000 years. Or two, the tariffs do work. Countries do not want to have to deal with very high tariffs on them, which were just put in, which just announced yesterday. And in fact, a lot of money and businesses start flowing back into the U.S. So really, the two options are tariffs destroy America, or tariffs actually work and help America. Either way, what people want to see, specifically people watching this video. Actually, everybody watching this video, I would assume, is invested in the stock market or Bitcoin or both. I really doubt that there's many people watching this video right now that don't care about Bitcoin or the stock market, because why else would you be watching, I guess? But the point is, there's a whole section of other people that do not care about the economy, that do not care about, well, maybe the economy, but they don't care about investing. They don't care about tech stocks. They absolutely don't care about Bitcoin. They don't care about the S&P. They don't care about the NASDAQ, the Magnificent Seven, Apple, MicroStrategy, Tesla. There's a lot of people, most people actually on the planet, don't care about that. However, my entire timeline is right now filled with people, especially on the political spectrum, that are very angry with Donald Trump. Most of them don't have any investments in stocks, but as usual, just want a reason to dump on Donald Dump. And as we see, it's true. Stocks plunged this morning as markets react to Donald Trump's new tariffs on nearly all U.S. imports. Specifically, they actually started dumping yesterday. At least the futures market started dumping because the announcement happened right after the stock market closed at 4 p.m. EST. And then the futures started dumping. So we knew that we were going to be getting a dump today. In fact, actually, before I continue with that, it's actually kind of crazy. Bitcoin is only down like maybe 1%. Meanwhile, the stock market is down 4 times more than Bitcoin. So we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But yes, stocks are dumping. We see over $1.65 trillion wiped out from the US stock market at open today. As well, we see, this is without a doubt a very common sentiment I've seen all over the timeline today. This is without a doubt the worst president of my lifetime, many people are saying, right? So absolutely, that's what a lot of people are saying. But let's be honest, whether or not Trump's tariffs work, people are going to hate him anyway. If, for example, let's say a couple months down the road, let's say that we bring down inflation, we bring down the yields, we can refinance these trillions of dollars of debt the U.S. government has at lower rates and actually end up benefiting Americans long term. And let's say that actually ends up working. Do you think the people right now that are incredibly anti-Trump are going to be saying, sorry, I was wrong. I guess he made a good call and it was short-term pain for long-term gain? Do you think people are going to say that? Less than zero. There are very few things in life that are less than 0% chance. There is a less than 0% chance that the people that hate Trump, if his policy and if his strategies actually work, will give him credit, right? Let's get that out of the way. The people that are the loudest saying things like this, right? And there's a lot of people, are literally, I mean, if Trump cured cancer and did every possible beneficial, altruistic thing a human being could do, people would still hate the guy. So let's at least a little less than half of America would still hate the guy. So let's make that clear before we go any further, because we have to establish that as a part of being a rational human being so we can have a rational discussion. We do see that it's remarkable to see that Bitcoin is up about 3.4% today relative to the S&P 500, particularly in a risk-off environment. As I've recently pointed out, Bitcoin, the SPY, continues to hold above its 200-day moving average. This is big. So why is Bitcoin holding up a little bit better? I want to talk about that in a second. But we see, with over $1 trillion of market cap lost since Trump took office, are you tired of winning yet? And you can see, actually, look at this chart. Is this potentially a very clear downtrend with a potential test of the support here? Potentially. We see tariffs affect more than 99% of people reading this. Okay, this is somebody who probably has a lot more money than 99% of the people watching. Basically, what he's saying is long-term gain will end up being more important and better than the short-term struggle. Okay, so keep in mind, this is something I want to get this straight first of all as well. Will the tariffs, this whole strategy, will all of this work? Is it guaranteed to work? Absolutely not. There's no guarantee that any of this is guaranteed to work. Okay. But if, for example, let's say the next few weeks, next few months, who knows? It could be less, it could be longer. Let's say that there's a period of time where things actually get worse, where the stocks continue to go lower, Bitcoin goes lower, and this becomes more of a trade war than it already is. But then let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, things are exponentially better long term, and we're set up for a much better global macroeconomic environment. Would you be okay with that? Would you be okay with going through short-term pain for a long-term gain? Because one thing that I've learned in the 8 years that I've been doing this is that most people that watch these videos and every video and that consume content online, they have a very, 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 very short-term mindset. And they don't have an ability to look more than a couple days into the future. And if Bitcoin dropped 5% right now, they would be extremely bearish. If Bitcoin pumped 10% right now, they would be extremely bullish again. My point is, it's very rare to find somebody that has a stance and sticks to it regardless of the fluctuations, which is what I'm trying to do. Because that's logically, I think, what makes sense, and rationally, especially given our current situation, that they've literally been telling us for the past couple of months is what they were going to do. Again, nothing surprising has happened here. The only thing maybe a little surprising is I believe a lot of people were maybe blindsided by the fact that the tariffs were a little higher than they might have thought, right? Even though they're still lower than the tariffs that all these other countries have placed on the US for a long time. The point being, when I read the comments of people panicking in the short term and then celebrating in the short term as well, I don't take them very seriously, because very rarely is it a person that's, one, experienced, two, actually tuned into the market and actually able to view it without the lens of pure emotion. 99% of people in this market only look at things through emotion. And as I said earlier on Twitter, I believe it was right here, this is like the biggest dump we've had since COVID. Guess what happened after that? It was an amazing time to buy in. And that's exactly what I'm planning. Well, I've already done today, but I have more orders set, and I might even just market smash order them as well. Who knows? I want to see how this plays out. I'm very tuned into it right now. But it's becoming increasingly clear the average American does not have the stomach necessary to fix this country. People are panicking. Oh no, Microsoft's down a couple percent, stuff like that. But sometimes, as you see here, things have to get dumpier. And there's going to be people watching that don't agree. But at the same time, I'm not really looking to cater to those people's opinions anyway, because I don't think they're very, for the most part, very rational people, right? I don't think they're the type of people, as I said earlier, if I would try to explain something, regardless of how rational and how many good points I could make, and they would still take the opposite stance of it simply based on their emotion and dislike of someone in particular, then I don't take their opinions very seriously. In fact, I don't take them seriously at all. They're completely, to me, a waste of my time to read them, even though I've read, quite literally at this point, probably hundreds of thousands of them, millions of them, realistically. And again, with Trump, I don't think he's necessarily a genius, but what I do think he's doing is controlling the narrative. And if we do end up recovering from this and come back with an incredibly strong, resilient Bitcoin and stock market, Are you going to be happy, or are you going to switch to complaining about something else that he's doing or did? Ask yourself that. And if you deep down understand, you know that you don't care what ends up happening, you just want to complain, you're not a serious person. And I absolutely, the last thing I'm going to do is for a second consider your opinion valuable. We're at a very important, extremely volatile, manufactured volatile, again, this is intentionally being done, a very volatile time in these markets, but this is where opportunity is. And believe me, 3 months ago, sentiment was awful. So everybody can understand right now, nobody's disagreeing with this. This is maybe the only thing everybody agrees on. Sentiment is awful. And that is exactly I've been doing this almost a decade. This is exactly when I have made the most money, by plunging myself into these type of situations. Granted, this one may be one of the worst, or how do I could put it the other way, the best opportunities in the last decade to make money. But is everybody right now going all out and just saying, wow, I'm selling my house to buy more Bitcoin right here? No, people are scared, angry, and confused. And that is exactly where the maximum opportunity is. So if you're here, if you're watching this, and you think, no way, we're going back to 70, 60. Actually, you know what's kind of funny? Is usually my videos, I talk about Bitcoin, but usually my videos, the negative comments will be geared towards Bitcoin dropping to a certain low or something like that, right? Like a certain price. Now, the negative comments are just people that hate Trump. That's it. They don't even really, it doesn't even seem like they really care about a price target anymore. They just want to say, I hate Trump, I hate Trump, I hate Trump. And again, that pure emotion is not the type of emotion, it's not the type of reasoning and mental perception of these markets that you should be or that you would have if you were intelligently playing this market. If you're going to get banged in this market, then you will be very emotional and you'll just be angry instead of actually understanding what's happening and trying to look more than a couple days in the future, which is exactly what I'm doing. But get signed up to FMX below if you want my Bitcoin altcoins to trade. With that, really good.